On the audio platforms, there's a couple of elements that I would like you to start looking at, which is you can look at these in your creators for Spotify app. I don't know if you have it, but and then you can also look at it on the back end of the Apple. So Apple Podcast platform on the back end. Mm-hmm. And what the two things that you want to look at are your 7-day downloads, which indicate, okay, is people attracted to my headlines? Mm-hmm. So if you're like, okay, let's say you have an average of, I don't know, 1,000 downloads per month, right? Or per episode, let's say per episode. And then all of a sudden you publish one and it's like, okay, the first 7 days I had a 2,000. What happened? Like, did we promote it on a different channel? Did we promote it? Like, did we send 1,000 episodes to 1,000 people more, right? Like, what happened? What's the outlier? And then you can test that out. So the more you can get on those 7 downloads, that indicates that people are discovering your show and they're downloading it immediately, right? Maybe you start sending an email to your email list if you have an email list with the episode, and that helped promote. So that's the immediate download, 7 days. Then you're going to look at your 30 days. The 30 days means basically are people downloading my long tail episodes, right? So the first 7 days is people that are like subscribers following your show and different things. And if you try a different marketing campaign, as in maybe you launch a website and the website has a link to your show, for example, or maybe you guest on a different show and you promoted it, then that's the 30 days is going to tell you that. Right. And then you're going to start looking at consumption rates. So Apple does this really well. It will tell you people consume like 60% of your episode or 20% of your episode. So you're going to start looking at like, okay, what's my average? What's the outliers of like, what are the episodes that people download the most, right? Or listen the most. I want people listening to the entire show versus the ones that are like, maybe people completed 10%, right? So you want to do more of what people are consuming. So that's feedback, right? So in our specific case, when we first started with like solo episodes, I don't know how long have you been listening to the show, but we did one at an event where our commitment was 3 a week. And we jumped in a car and we were like, crap, we haven't recorded today. And we basically grabbed the iPhone and we recorded our thoughts on that event. And the episode lasted about 15 minutes. It was the first one that we did about 15 minutes. Everybody downloaded it. Everybody listened to the whole thing. And we're like, we should be doing solo episodes and we should be doing shorter solo episodes. So we started testing it out and it worked out. And now solo episodes resonate a lot. So start looking for those indicators. Okay. Then on distribution, it's like, okay, same thing about your topics. Look at like, where are your people hanging out online? Is there Reddit threads that they're going? Are they Facebook groups? Are they communities that they're hanging out? Are they masterminds that they're doing? Are they physical events, physical meetups that you can show up and do this? And every event is an opportunity for you to support the group by maybe providing the episode. So let's use a Facebook group spikes, for example, right? You find a Facebook group that people are talking about these topics and you search, let's say you're talking climate change, right? And you search climate change and there's going to be a few people that are going to be commenting on those things. Reddit threads, same thing, like ask me anything, things like that. And then you're going to see maybe 5 people respond to their comments. Maybe they're asking a question, give your opinion on it. And like, hey, by the way, Alex and Filippo, who owns a platform called Podmatch, which I highly recommend, he does this every single episode. He goes in there, he's part of his routine. He's the CEO of this company. He does it every single day. And he answers questions. So like, hey, by the way, this is my opinion on this. And I have an episode about that topic. If you're interested, here it is. And you send them that specific episode. And if that person can log in and say, but every single person that goes and reads those comments, then they're going to be like, oh, maybe that's interesting. And then those links are going to start to live online and it's going to help you get traffic. So Alex's goal is to actually get 1 new listener a day. So that's what he does. That's the goal. And eventually like he compounds, right? So that's a very like grassroots organic tactic that you can do. We've run ads to show, I don't know if you have a budget to run ads, but I probably don't recommend it immediately. You can get a spike in the 7-day downloads. Our personal retention was about 3%. So we just like growing organically. Another thing is maybe find newsletters that talk about your topic. If you subscribe to newsletters and email lists and things like that, be like, what are some people that are sending cool emails about these topics, right? And then reach out to them, be like, hey, I have these episodes. It resonates a lot with it. I would love to have a way to collaborate with you. And then if you place the podcast on those newsletters, because newsletter readers tend to listen to podcasts, it's a good traffic source. And now remember this, podcast listeners listen to podcasts. So if you go and, promote your show on other shows, right, you can do that. Podmatch, I'll send you the link because I think this is one that you must be on. It's $6 a month, but you can connect with other podcasters and you can guest on other shows. So if you guest on other shows, their listeners are going to resonate with you and they're going to transfer that. Podcast listen to podcasts. So those are like the main drivers that for like a podcast listenership that you can try out.